Oops. Is it live?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, give us a thumbs up if you can hear.
Give
us
a thumbs up if y'all can hear us well. Say something in the chat if you guys can hear us.
Oh,
okay. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. This is clearly.
Oops.
This is clearly our first time going live. This is not even the setup that we had, so bear with us. Thank you for your patience. We truly, truly apologize, you guys. Thanks for sticking in there with us.
Yeah.
We're gonna get better at this. So before we jump into things, I just want to welcome everybody to our channel. So if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If you're new, we are Finding the Foresters. We share our travels around the world as a family, as a couple. We believe in sometimes taking the kids and sometimes leaving them at home. We provide travel planning tips, hotel reviews. We share our travel itineraries. And we hope that you would consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you can see where you will be finding the Foresters next. So now that we got that out of the way.
Right. All right. So, I mean, we already went through this. This is the first time going live. So, of course, we're going to be going through some things, trying to learn how YouTube works and things like that. So we're in the process of doing that now. We're going to provide some tips for, people who need some advice on how to learn how to travel or how to prepare to travel. And we're just going to create a dialogue. If you have any questions, feel free to hit a chat and we'll read your questions as we go. But, just feel free to jump in at any time. We want this to be a back and forth type thing. So everyone in the chat could, feel as they're a part of it and get some information that they need for any help with traveling and things like that nature.
Yep. So we'll jump into content because this will be on our channel after the live is over. So we do want people to be able to look back at it for information, but we really would prefer this to be engaging with you all. We could just do a sit down video if we just wanted to share content. So we really want to prioritize your questions. So do not be shy. Even if we're talking through something, still put the comments in the chat box, the questions in the chat box, and we'll get to them. We prefer to see what questions you all have rather than tell you what we think you want to know. We want to know what questions you do have.
Yep.
Before we get started any further, I want to take a moment to shout out our moderators. If anyone has been live before or been on a live, you know that it's really hard to do this and moderate the chat box at the same time.
Yeah, you got some ratchet people online, man. So we seen a couple things go crazy in the chat. So we just want to make sure that we had a different party helping us to monitor that and make sure none of that actually makes it to the chat. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
So our two moderators, we have Dre and Shan from Jay and Tran TV. They are moderators. Thank you so much. And we also have Lynette and Stanley from Life with Us TV. We will put the links to their channels in our description box. Check them out. You can view them. They're hilarious couples. They are people that we love. So you will love and enjoy their channel as well. So please check them out. Yep. All right. So let's get started, y'all. So we're often asked very general things, right? So people may sometimes ask us, how do you travel? Can you give us tips on how to travel? Or how do I get started planning a trip? And those questions are very, very general. And those tips that we would give would really depend on what type of travel you're referring to. Are you talking about traveling via cruise or flying? So we wanted to handle that question, address that question in this forum so we can see any more specific type questions you have.
Yep. Just remember, all travel counts, whether you go international, if you do domestic, if you're on a cruise, if you're, boating on a lake or something like that, just something to get away from your normal routine and, outside of your house and just experiencing new things. That's all a part of travel. So don't make it seem like, going international all the time is something that's just what you have to do. No, travel, get away, do whatever is comfortable for you. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you feel good, just do that. And, it is what it is,
Yeah. So people, I think sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes people will see us travel internationally and they feel that the only type of questions they can ask us is about international travel. That's not true. I mean, we do love to travel internationally, but we also cruise. We also will go somewhere within the United States of America. So you don't have to make it feel that you have to ask some question about some far away country for us. But although travel tips are specific to the type of travel, there are very general tips that you all should keep in mind that are relevant to any type of travel. So whether you're traveling by plane, bus, train, scooter, or wherever, there's general tips that you should keep in mind with travel in general. So let's get into those, and then we'll go to the chat box and see what's going on in there. So the first thing, consider your budget. I'm a firm believer that when all other things equal, everyone has a different budget, but you can get to most places despite what your budget is. Now, not saying that everybody is going to be able to have the type of budget that gets you there in 2 months. You may have to plan a little longer and have your trip a little further out to get to France, and somebody else may be able to get to France in 3 months. But just know your budget, because knowing your budget will, one, tell you, okay, I may need to scale back my travel idea, or I'm not going to scale it back, but I need to plan it a little further out to give myself time to save up, to make payments, etc. Because what we would never, ever advocate for on Finding the Forces is going broke to travel, honey. That is not cute, okay? I mean, I would travel all day, every day if I could, but plan accordingly, stick to your budget, keep that in mind.
Unless some of y'all getting flown out, but it's a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? I know some people get flown out. So hey, listen, there be a lot of people out here getting flown out and they act like that's their budget or that's their money. Now, be some old 60-year-old, 70-year-old man out there taking Viagra, flying them out. So
women can fly guys out too. Don't try to act like y'all the only ones with some little bread now.
We do got some, we do got some, yeah. So some of y'all get flued out, but consider your budget. The next thing, consider your schedule. Everyone has a different schedule. Some people, they have a type of job that only allows them to travel in the summertime. So one big thing that comes to mind, there are teachers. Teachers sometimes are like, I really don't want to step away from my students in the classroom during the other times of the month or times of the year. So I really need to focus on the summertime for my travel. Some people may have another job where you have a busy work season and you just know, I just can't step away during this season. So I can only travel in the winter. So just keep in mind what your schedule is and what time of year you would be traveling. This is for 2 reasons. One, you want to make sure that wherever you're going is going to have pleasant weather, whatever time of year you're going. So if you know that you can only travel during the winter, and you know that you want it to be really warm where you're going, you have to keep that in mind when picking your destination. If you are traveling in the winter and you're like, I really want where I'm going to be cold, I want to ski or I want to whatever, then keep that in mind, because if it's the winter, you don't want to go to the Caribbean if you want to be somewhere cold. So just keep your schedule in mind. Also, the length of time. How long do you have? Everyone does not have the privilege of going somewhere for 2 weeks at a time. Right.
So, do I have 3 days or do I have a week or do I have 2 weeks? If you have 3 days, it's probably not advisable to spend 20 hours going to Bali. If you have 3 days, it's not the time for that.
You already knocked out about 22 hours in 3 days. So
right.
And you're gonna be fatigued, and then the next day you're gonna be sleeping half the day. So
right.
That's a day and a half right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
And excuse me if I'm not looking in the right place. I have to get used to this. We were not planning on using the computer, so I have to get used to looking right. I think I'm supposed to look right there. So sorry if I'm not looking in the right place. Other things to consider. Do you have a passport? There are places you can go that you don't need a passport, and there's places that you go that require a passport. So keep that in mind. Do I have a passport? Okay, I don't. Maybe I want to stick to somewhere domestic. Maybe I want to stick to a cruise this time. Or I don't have a passport, but I really want to go international. So let me keep that in mind. But when I'm scheduling my trip, because I need to build in time to apply and receive my passport. So just keep that in mind. That's key. And then, what travel vibe do you want? Like, it's all about a vibe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's the main thing about vacation.
It's
the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibe.
Right. Do you want a family vibe? Do you want it to be a family trip? Do you want it to be an adult-only trip with your friends, your girlfriends? Do you want it to be a romantic trip?
Right.
Do you want a party?
Right. And you see with our our videos, we typically do one family and then one what you call it, vacation, or whatever you want to call it. Just so we could, reconnect ourselves together without Bryce. And then, we also want to take Bryce along with us to different places. So we include him in that as well. So it just depends on what you want to do. Some people like only family vacations, and that's great. Some people like only vacations. That's great. Whatever you want to do, just think it out before you actually pick, before you actually, make your plans and things like that. Just,
exactly.
You want to turn up, like she said, if you want to lay back, you want to sit on the beach all day, if you want to go to a city and explore, if you want to be immersed in the culture, you just got to type of, because a lot of different locations kind of offer a lot of different things. So that's a good way to narrow where you want to go.
It also will impact your accommodations you choose. Do you want to be pampered and catered to and relax? If that's the case, you may not want to go the Airbnb route. You may want to go to a nice resort or somewhere that's going to just cater to you. Do you want to be more in the city and immersed in the culture, and you don't really want all the cookie cutter stuff? That might be different. Then you might want to go and make sure that you find some apartment Airbnb to rent that's embedded in the city, and that's going to impact what your travel itinerary. If you want to be very immersed in the culture, that's going to determine what's on your travel itinerary. It's not going to be stuff like spa and things like that. It'll be, let's go on this tour, or let's take this cooking class. What we typically try to do, we like a little mix of both. Yeah. So if you've been following us for a while, you might realize that our trips are normally twofold. We normally have a relaxation, pampering period of trip, and then we normally have more of a low key
relaxing.
Relaxing. Then we have like the more of get a sense of the culture, because we're not traveling. We sometimes we travel really far. We're not traveling that far just to go to a spa. We have to actually benefit from the culture
or to party the whole time. Because once you get there, you're gonna be tired when you get back. So
Okay, so now I'm about to pause before we go any further to go in the chat box, because we wanted to, kind of open up with some information, but we also want to make this really question answer. So let's see.
First question we have. Who?
Oh, where are you looking at, Amanda?
Oh, well.
What are you looking at?
I was looking at this one.
Oh. Does anyone know if Jamaica has opened back up yet? Not that I'm ready to jump on a plane just yet. I feel you, Amanda. You know what? Travel is in our bones, our blood, and I cannot wait to travel. We had a lot of things canceled, you guys. That's why we had to start getting creative with this channel. And I think, depending on how this goes and you all's feedback, we might consider continuing things like this. Even when the world start opening back up, we might continue to still do lives like this and interact with you guys. Maybe sometimes we'll go live at that destination. So not saying we're going to stop all this. We had to start getting creative because we missed travel. We had to cancel a lot of stuff.
But Jamaica is
yeah, I'm sorry. She said I'm not ready to get on a plane yet. Then I started getting a little emotional. I'm sorry. I started getting emotional.
You didn't ask a question just yet.
I don't know if Jamaica has back up. Heard that it has yet. I have heard that some places are like in June, such as like Aruba, places like I don't know exactly for Jamaica. Look into itself has been specifically that.
Doing phases, we don't know.
Yeah. What TNC show?
Oh.
I just saw y'all. Wow, I play too much. We love y'all though. Check them out too, you guys. They travel off in TNC.
Questions they had. The top. Oh, okay.
Well, I had to go back to the top and make sure you don't miss nobody. Everybody feel like they got the questions now.
Word.
When is the next trip you guys have planned? This is twofold. So we were supposed to go to San Diego.
Yeah.
And that got canceled. We
were talking about going to Egypt or South Africa in December. But
it's a little shaky now.
we just don't know. We'd rather be on the safe than sorry. But as far as we know right now, the only trip that we have planned solidified is Barbados in 2021.
April.
Yeah, April 2021. My brother is getting married to his wife Carly, and just having a destination wedding in Barbados. So that's if y'all don't know this is my home island. My mom is from Barbados. My dad's from Grenada. So a lot of my family still live back there. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Bryce is going, Bryce and my nephews. I think Desiree is actually online right now.
Oh, is she?
I think so. But yeah, I think they're coming out too. So all the nephews going to be, all the my nephews.
It's about to be a movie.
Yeah, my grandma probably going to pull up, aunties and all that stuff. So
grandma pull up.
She might pull up. But yeah, that's the only thing we got planned right now.
Yeah, that's the definite one that's actually already booked. We were, to Brian's point, in December. We were planning to go to South Africa, but we kind of paused on planning that because we're not sure the feasibility of it right now with the timing of this COVID stuff. And then that's the next family trip we have planned.
That was
Barbados. But I have a girls trip with my girlfriends scheduled for August, late August.
You do? I'm
about to say, boy, now you better send me a text message or something. Now, don't embarrass me on the live. No, but we have a trip. We have a trip.
I already knew that.
Napa Valley scheduled for August. So hopefully we'll be able to still do that. I'm not going to do anything that I feel is not good to do amidst COVID. So if we need to cancel that, we will. When we booked it where we can get all our money back. So we already booked our flights, but we can get flight credit or flight money back if it's canceled. And of course, the hotels that we booked, we can always cancel those within a certain amount of days and not get charged.
Yep.
Let's see, what else? Phil said I want to go somewhere, but the government said no. Government, I can't say no.
Oh, you can still go somewhere.
Wait a minute.
You might not be able to get back though.
I work for the government.
You can still go.
Right, Phil, you might be able to get there. I don't know if you're going to get back. Hey, Q Denise Vlogs, what's up? Okay, Tina, let's see. Hey, y'all, been binge watching all your travel adventures. I feel like I need to fly business class on Emirates. Yeah, man, listen. That was a spur of the moment decision.
That'll make that 13 hours a breeze.
Listen, you hear me? Man, if y'all don't know what she's talking about, I will link that video also in the description. It was our first time traveling business class on Emirates when we went to Bali. Y'all, this is just business class, not even first on Emirates. I mean, they had a whole bar, everything in the back of the plane. I mean,
at the bed, champagne. When you pop on the airplane, it was like, here you go, sir. I was like, oh.
We literally the first 13 hours that we were in business class, it felt like we were on the plane for 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
No lie. It was totally worth it. Now, we also have tips on that how we were able to get into business class for a fraction of the cost. I mean, it still was a splurge, but it was not nearly the cost that they were trying to charge if we had booked it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Where do you plan to go? We did ask that. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom. How you doing?
So we answered that where we can go next. Hi, Mika. Mika, you're a newbie to the channel. Welcome. Okay.
I don't think.
What do you guys think about? I just passed it. I scrolled too fast. I'm sorry, guys. We planned to have this up, and I was going to be on the computer over here. I was going to be on the computer over there and flawlessly look at the questions right here.
Yeah.
What do you think about traveling during the Christmas holidays? I'm thinking really hard about Christmas.
Love it.
We definitely recommend it. We've traveled for Christmas on the Christmas holiday for the past 2 years, and we really enjoy it. We still, give our sons Christmas gifts. You might be able to hear him getting a little louder. So we told his brother to be quiet. No, we told him he can come join us. He said no. He played us today, but we still give him something, some gifts, but we really want to focus on experiences with him as much as possible and not materialistic things. I mean, but we do a little bit of both. We're not one of the people that are like, oh, don't get no materialistic, don't get nobody no toys and only focus on experiences. No, I mean, we don't police people. Do both, do one, do none. It's up to you, but we definitely recommend traveling on the Christmas holidays if you can. We have done Colombia, and then we did Disney. Yeah. If you do Disney during Christmas, though, please, we might have to do a live on that by itself. Planning for Disney, but you have to pack your patience. But you also have to plan strategically because a lot of people say you can't get on any rides. We got on tons of rides because we know how to plan and we use our fast passes strategically. And there's very specific tips you have to keep in mind with doing Disney, period, and especially doing Disney on the holidays. But it was magical, nothing like it.
Yeah, but we definitely recommend Christmas travel. It's fun.
Oh, thank you, Desiree. She said, "Okay, my sis cute." Let me blow. Okay, thank you. Can mother go? Mommy, you know what? You can always go. My mama, she don't never want to get on nobody's plane, but I always want to go somewhere. Mama, you are welcome anytime you want. You just gotta get on the plane though. Thanks, Lynette. She's saying she does. Okay. I just want to make sure we get up through all the questions before we continue on. Legalized. Maine legalized. It is so beautiful.
It was really gorgeous.
What are some tips for traveling with a young child?
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, is that? Oh, hi, Ryan and Riley. So that is a great question. We do have a video for travel, things to pack for a plane when traveling with a young child. So check that video out. When traveling with a young child, it depends on the age of the child. So if you're traveling with like a toddler, like Bryce's first plane trip was when he was almost two. And you just have to plan everything, like bring their favorite snacks. Now you got to be careful now. Like if you're bringing fruit and stuff like that, be careful, make sure they eat it on the plane and make sure it's eaten or you throw away before you land in the country that you're going to, because different countries have different rules about bringing different fruits into their country. So you don't want to get flagged by that, but make sure you pack their favorite snacks. This is not the time to sit up there and be the strict parent with screen time and stuff like that. Screen time them down to their socks. Like let them get all the screen time. Like make sure their favorite movies and TV shows are already preloaded on their electronic device, games. If
coloring
it's
books.
Like all of those things. Like we pack all of those things. You want to say hi? Okay, the rest downstairs. Make sure that if it's an infant that is still in diapers, no, go upstairs. You're not calling anybody right now. Sorry, guys. He already asked that question earlier. But if it's an infant that's in diapers, definitely make sure that you overpack the amount of diapers in your carry-on bag that you need. So say, for example, you have a 4-hour flight and you would typically only change your towel maybe once or twice in a time, pack 5 diapers. Because you never know in terms of layovers, if there's going to be any delays in flights, and you might think that, oh, we were only supposed to be at a layover for 1 hour, but the flight got canceled or the flight got delayed, and so we end up in the airport for 4 hours, but all your diapers you packed are in the check bag and you don't have any with you. So overpack everything like that. They might change things, but they don't typically have those type of things that you need on the plane. So overpack that stuff.
Okay. But yeah, we got a whole video on all that good stuff. Tiffany did that probably a couple, like 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah. Any more questions?
Oh, somebody said the last thing they heard Jamaica's reopening June 1st. That's all I thought. Most places do in June 1st. June. I think I just did something too fast. I just moved past something. Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, so that's all the questions for now. So make sure you continue to put them in. We're gonna go ahead and move forward with giving some more tips. So as we said, we gave some general tips for any type of travel already, but now we're going to move forward and start giving some tips for if you're flying internationally. So these that we give now are flying international tips. So, and keep putting your questions in the chat box. We will stop what we're doing and look over there more often. So first thing is, if you're flying international, before we get started, the flying international tips that we're giving, we are giving for United States citizens. Now, some of them are going to be relevant no matter what your country of residence is. But if we start talking about things like visa requirements and passport requirements and specific things like that, keep in mind to look up what your country of residence requirements are. Mm-hmm. So you need a passport. If you're flying internationally, you need a passport. Keep in mind, though, 2 things. the passport has to follow the 6 months validity passport rule. What that means is if you're going to another country and whatever date is on your passport for the expiration date, it needs to not expire within 6 months of your travel date. So people have gone to the airport and got turned around because they're like, oh, it's February and my passport doesn't expire until May. And they're like, okay, but it has to expire 6 months after the start of your travel.
Because they don't know how long you're going to be gone. So
so there are people that they would not let you board the plane.
Yeah.
Also, depending on the country that you're going to, you have to have a certain amount of blank pages in your passport. So some countries require you to have 1 blank page in there. Some require 2. Some require up to 6 blank pages. So keep that in mind. Research. I have a U.S. citizen passport, and I'm traveling to Bangladesh. How many blank pages do I need in my passport? So keep that in mind, because some places will not yet let you enter the country, so you will be stuck at their airport because you do not have enough blank pages in your passport.
Yeah.
Another thing I recommend is to take a picture of your passport. Because of course you'll still need the actual passport. Now don't take that as like you can just leave your passport at home. Take the passport, but you might want to keep it in your lockbox in the hotel and have it on your phone in case it gets stolen, it gets lost. You have your photo of it to prove your identity, basically, because your U.S. driver's license does nothing for you internationally. How will traveling look, Nikki 828NM, sorry. How will traveling look for you as far as planes and protective gear? I think at this point, all my flights will consist of gloves, masks, and definitely on top. Okay, so y'all know, anybody that know us and see how I sanitized on my last work trip to St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
I did all this pre-COVID. You know, I was already a germaphobe pre-COVID. So pre-COVID, I would already board the plane, Lysol it down. I mean, Clorox it down before we even unpack or settle in or anything.
Yeah.
Because they don't clean those planes. They do the same thing if you go into the hotel room.
The little screens on TV, whatever, all that stuff it handles. Because, people be on their plane for, 3, 4 hours, 6 hours. Who knows where they're coming from? It could be coughing on top of stuff. That's a very easy way to catch a cold. Or I've seen some pictures of like backward seating, like if you got 3-seater, like two of them will be facing forward, and then the middle one will be sitting backwards, and they have like these little glass things between them or whatever. Who knows all that's going to happen? This is just a rendering that I saw online that say some potential ways to deal with COVID or any type of viruses or whatever. But I mean, honestly, who knows? I don't know. I would say just bring your hands, bring your wipes and sanitizers. If you want to wear a mask, feel free to do so.
They're going to require masks.
Yeah. So I mean, feel free to do so. Yeah. Do whatever you think you need to do to protect yourself.
I say do it all. I was doing all that before. The only thing that will change now post-COVID is I'll now have my mask on. I didn't do the mask pre-COVID. I did everything else pre-COVID. Now I add the mask to the I don't think I'll do many gloves or anything, but we will do the Clorox. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, also when you pick your place you want to travel to, make sure you do your research on wondering if, visas are required to enter their country. A lot of times if you're traveling from the United States or whatever, they give you like a 30-day visa. Once you sign to fill out that little customs sheet, they give you a 30-day visa to be in and out of the country. And if you want to stay a little bit longer, you obviously have to apply for a visa for that country to stay there a little bit longer or whatever. But in most cases that we've seen, it gives you automatically for 30 days, like I said before. But just in case, just double check and do due diligence.
Every place is different. So don't even, when it comes to stuff like visa requirements, don't take a general tip on that. Always research your destination and find out for your passport that you have, what are their entrance visa requirements. Sometimes it'll be none, and sometimes it's going to be something.
And sometimes it might cost money.
Sometimes it might cost money. So that's something that it would be very particular on what type of passport you have and where you're going. So make sure you always, on your travel checklist, first, passport. How many blank pages I need for the country I'm going to. Next, visa. I have a U.S. passport. I have this type of passport. I'm going to this country. are there any visa requirements? Look that stuff up and make sure that you're looking at a reputable site, such as their government site or something like that. Check it.
Yeah. And also always bring a pen with you. You also always got to fill out some type of form in the airport or on the plane. And people wonder, I got a pen? Can I use a pen? Can I use a plan? Yada, yada, yada. So just to eliminate that, just always pack a pen to travel. You just never know. You're probably going to use it more than likely.
You will use it. If you're flying international, you will use a pen. And the flight attendants are not going to give you one.
Yeah, they're not going to have one.
So you think that they would have it and whip it out. They're going to pass you the customs form when you're like an hour or so away from landing in the country. And literally, you're going to say, can I have a pen? They say, we don't have any. And they're going to continue walking on. Bring your own pen, or you're going to have to ask your neighbor and ask the other neighbor for one.
Yeah, it's also,
always take a pen.
And it's good to have one to fill out on the airplane. So when you do land, you don't have to stop at a little station and, use their pens or wait till a pen comes available. That's just extra time. That just takes you more like an extra 10, 15 minutes. Who knows how long to get out the airport. You already been on a long flight. You just want to get off the plane, get your bags, and get on to your destination. So try to make it as soon as possible.
The next thing, always, wherever you're traveling to, check the laws and the customs of that country. It's super duper important. Everywhere has different laws and customs, and you don't want to enter someone's country and you have something in your bag that's not allowed in their country. You also just want to be respectful. This is a big world, and there are a lot of different customs that are different from what you're accustomed to, and no one's customs are better than the other person's customs. So if you're going to go to someone's country, respect their customs, research their customs, and act accordingly.
Do not want to be on an episode of Locked Up Abroad.
You do not. You do not. You need to check their laws seriously, because and this is very serious, because a lot of times in the United States of America, we have certain viewpoints that are a lot more, like we have conservative viewpoints, but there are a lot of viewpoints that are more liberal that we have, and some of us expect other countries to have these same liberal views. And you go there and you're like, why? This is not fair. What's fair here? Fair laws, all that stuff. That's out of the park when you go into someone else's country. Look at what their customs are, what their laws are. Even like if you want to carry a drone, make sure that you're allowed to do that. This gonna sound crazy, but some people travel like this. If you have vibrators and stuff, y'all, you say, bear with me. If you got vibrators, stuff like that, a country like Maldives and other Muslim countries, you cannot take that in there. Get locked up. So just make sure you. Yes, I did research that we was going to Maldives. I mean, we married. Okay. Even if you
but just do the rules, because, like I said, you don't want to get locked up anywhere. You don't want to. Thinking you could do something in the United States. Oh, I could do that here too. No, it's not that. It's not that. A lot of the places, like majority of the world, is Muslim, for example. I mean, they don't drink and things like that. So just gotta obey the laws. Yeah,
obey definitely. Also, place a travel alert on all of your bank cards. Like literally every single bank card you anticipate using when you travel, put a travel alert on each of them. Whether it's a credit card or a bank card, put a travel alert. You can call your bank. Or a lot of banks have an easy way that you can do it on the bank app.
On the app,
Make sure you do that, and make sure you not only do it for your final destination. If you have a layover en route to a destination, put the travel alert on for that layover location as well, because you don't want to go in the airport on the layover and try to buy something like a bottle of water and your card get declined, and you got to figure out how to get it back together.
Yeah, man, because I was in St. Martin one time before. And I think I used my bank card, and normally we just put our joint on there. So I went ahead and went to this little quickie mart or whatever, got some little water and stuff like that, and all of a sudden said, boom, you can't buy it. I got a little notification from my SunTrust thing talking about your joint got locked down because specific activity in St. Martin, we don't know. So I had to make phone calls to my bank. I had to call my boy, and then he had to put me on the bank. It was just a whole debacle. So just make sure you put those travel notices on your cards. If you choose to use cards, or your credit card, your debit card, your credit card, whatever you want to use, just make sure you put that in so the bank knows when you're actually swiping your card or using it, that it's actually you, and you don't get short, you don't get stuck with no money.
Yep. And seriously, even if you don't think you're going to use it, just do it just in case. We were not planning on using our personal bank cards during that trip. We were only going to use the joint. But like he said, he, just naturally just went there, wanted to buy some on his own, and just didn't think about it. Just do it. But also just keep in mind the next tip. Because even if you do all the things perfect with planning your travel, you got to be flexible and be nimble and think quick on your toes, because something will always happen that's not according to plan, and you can't let that ruin all your trip. You cannot pay all that money, travel all that way, have something happen, have it ruin your trip. Be flexible, be nimble, and think on your feet. Because even if you do those things beforehand and do the proper planning, things can still happen. Yeah. Case in point, when we just went to Bali, we did all that. We put the travel alert literally on all of our cards. We landed in Bali, tried to go to the ATM at the airport. Oh, I can't talk. Airport, and it would not let us take any money out. We're like, we put it on there, so we literally had to not panic, just go ahead and get to the Airbnb we were at. Then we had to contact our bank that way and just, give them the receipt of we put this travel notice on there. Why isn't it? And they apologized and kept it moving. They opened up back our account and said, okay, it's you. So just keep in mind, be flexible, be nimble.
Yep. Also, before you go, you want to check the currency and the conversion rate to United States dollar. A lot of times you travel, depending on where you go, a lot of times the US dollar is more than the currency that you're going to. And sometimes it can be more than the currency you go, less than the currency you go to. Like if you go to London, the euro is more than the US dollar right now. But if you go to Mexico, the peso is less than the US dollar. So you got to make sure you know what the conversions are. If a dollar is 35 cents in pesos or whatever, just make sure you keep that cognizant before you go take money out to say, hey, okay, I normally just use Google and find a converter app and have a budget in my mind how much you want to spend. So I might say, okay, let me take out $500, but how much is that in pesos or whatever in their currency? So just make sure you do the research and use converters to figure that out before you go also as well.
It's also sometimes a good tip to have a couple of their currency that you to their currency before you left your home airport. So when we're in our home airport, before we get on the plane, it's a good idea to already have a little cash as well. When I first started traveling, my very first international flight 17 years ago, I didn't know nothing about no currency difference. I knew nothing. I was a complete novice. I was just studying abroad in Spain, and I got on the plane. And then I landed in Spain and I didn't have any euros, and I tried to use my money and they were like, no. So I had a classmate that was nice to me that gave me some money to get some food, and I paid her back. But just make sure you look at the currency and you're prepared for that. We're going to pause real quick on our notes because we did get a question from QD Denise Vlogs. Do you guys use credit card rewards to travel? Now, yes. So a little background on that. So we never, like we said, we do not believe in going into debt to travel anywhere. And so we used to be big advocates on always paying cash for all of our trips, not putting anything on credit. Now we're a little more used to it, and we know how to be strategic with it. So now we do have a credit card travel credit card with United. This is not sponsored at all, but now you can use credit card travel reward systems to benefit you. So now we will buy something and we will do it like going to dinner where we know you get double the points, just so we can get points towards free flights. And then we will pay it fully off so that we're not in credit card debt. But we know that we're getting points. So when our points build up at a future travel trip, we can potentially travel for free. So that has worked for us. Like when we went to Disney, we only paid for like one person's flight. Yeah. So it does work. Yep. Brian mentioned a converter app. That's the next tip we have in let me scroll down, make sure we get it together. Convert app. So make sure you download any apps that you need for when you're going to be at your destination before you leave. So this could be transportation related apps, just like we call Uber and Lyft here. Find out what it is in that country. Download the app beforehand. Download a language application or translator app.
Google Translate. Yeah.
Download a converter app so that when you're on the run and you're in the city that you're going or in the country you're going and you want to look at the menu, and the prices in their currency, and you're trying to find, okay, I gotta stick to my budget. Let me convert this and see how much US dollars it is or how much your currency is, to see if you're just have the app already downloaded so that you're not so you're always prepared.
Yeah, and for communication purposes too, like WhatsApp. Depending on where you're at, some places only use WhatsApp, the app to communicate back and forth. They might not have a phone number, might have a WhatsApp number. So you can download web apps and communicate with them via that. Or like she said, any other services that is more well known there than anywhere else.
That relates to the next tip: have a communication plan.
Yep.
Twofold: have a communication plan for how you're going to communicate while you're at your destination, and also have a communication plan for how you're going to communicate with people back at home. So like he mentioned WhatsApp, so make sure those apps are preloaded. Your WhatsApp, your FaceTime, your Facebook Messenger, however you plan on communicating. Some people opt to get a SIM card when they land in the country and put it in their phone. We don't really do all that. We mostly just deal with Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of free apps on Wi-Fi, and most of the places that we go, we can be on Wi-Fi probably like 75% of the time, and the rest of the time,
restaurants or the hotel or wherever you're at, most of them have Wi-Fi. And like I think most people use the SIM cards for like the GPS and things like that. If they're driving themselves around the country and you need that GPS on your phone to actually take you to the destination, we normally utilize taxis or not escorts, what you call them, hired drivers and things like that to get us around. So we have to do that much, but
before we get into the next tip, we did get a question from SDFAY05. So tips and websites for booking. Do you recommend using a travel agent or booking your own? I want to travel more and save as much as possible. So it depends. So we always book our own travel. We don't use a travel agent. A lot of times people are, they want me to book their travel and stuff. And, I consider like being I don't necessarily want to be a travel agent because I don't want to deal with anyone's money and stuff, but I have considered being a travel consultant. But we book our own travel. But if you feel that you aren't ready to do that, or if you're a little nervous, you can use a travel agent. Just keep in mind, if you do that, there more than likely is going to be a little bit more than what you would have paid by booking it on your own, because it's a business. They have to take off their overhead, or they, they're spending their time to help you. So just keep in mind that you might have to expand your budget a little bit. However, there are travel agents that book things that's not a cost to you. Wait, we did use a travel
for Disney
agent one time. Yeah, I was about to say. So like for Disney, we went to Disney. We did use an agent just to make sure we had the best deal, because we wanted to make sure that if there are any deals that we don't see on this regular website, we want to know about them. And when we booked with her, it did not cost any additional fee to book through her. So sometimes there are people like Disney travel agents or cruise travel agents that don't have an additional cost related to it. Hi, Boss Bray. How did two become one? What's up? Thanks for joining.
And a lot of travel agents, they know like the ins and outs of everything. So if you want more information and you don't want to do, your own research or whatever, you just want to say, hey, I just want this. Here's where I want to go. I got this budget. Give me what you want. And I think that's the added value for the travel agent. They could give you a budget. They could tell you what your package is, and you could say, boom, put all this in one, and you could go, do your thing. But if we kind of like she said before, we kind of do our own research. We kind of like, it's fun for us. We just like to see what's out there. We kind of try to get our bang for the buck or whatever. So it's up to you.
We're also comfortable doing it. We are comfortable with
looking up airline flights and Airbnb.
It's a part of the process. It's it just we spend like the year planning, and then you go, so it's all part of the process. And like I said, I plan to do travel consulting. So if I ever start to actually do that legitly, I'll let you all know. It's going to be that's different from a travel agent though. Like I will help you plan your itinerary, and I will help you research stuff about the location, but I'm not taking your money and booking anything in your name, nothing like that. Dre and Shan TV, she is a travel agent now too. So head over there if you do want an actual agent that will book for you and stuff like that. We have another question. Oh, that's related to another tip we have. So do you recommend letting the foreign embassy know your travel plans, like where you will be at certain time? Do you guys also travel out into the city, country that's not tourist friendly? We do travel out into the actual cities that we go to. Now keep in mind, we ain't stupid. Now, if we know that, like say if we know that there are what's the cartels or something like that in a certain neighborhood, we gonna stay away from there. Like we literally do our research about certain neighborhoods, but that's not anything about another country. There's places like that in the United States. So just do your research and just just use your caution. However, we do make sure that we always have opportunities to immerse ourselves in the culture, whether it's taking a cooking class, whether it's taking a tour, but we always make sure that we're comfortable and that it's going to be safe. You do want to also schedule your trip in the, what is it called? I'm blanking. Protect the
smart travel.
Yes. The travel, what is it called again?
They thought it was smart travel.
Smart travel? I can't think of the name of it.
STEP?
Yes, thank you. We've mentioned this on our travel before when we're giving tips, but the STEP program for United States, make sure you register your trip in there if you're traveling internationally, because in the event that something happens while you're actually in there, they will know how many of their citizens are in that country and they can help aid to get you home. So if there's a hurricane or natural disaster that happens, they won't know that you're there if you don't enroll in the STEP program.
Right. They won't. Well, I don't know if they know the exact location.
They do, because you put the location.
Okay. Yeah.
You put the address of the hotel that you plan to be at. You let them know where you will be.
Yeah.
Now, they might not know, she was on an excursion today. Like,
right.
You don't give them your actual full itinerary, but like, say we're going to Bali, I will enroll that into STEP program. I will say, this is the address for our Airbnb. We're going to be there those dates. This is the address for our hotel. We're going to do it those dates. And definitely enroll in. Thank God we have not needed it yet, but if in the event that we do, definitely enroll it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how to say not tourist friendly, because I feel like most cities that we've been to cities that are sort of tourist friendly, but we also been places like Colombia or like Greece or whatever, they don't really cater to tourists, but it's like you're just a part of the community. So we don't really travel to areas or places that are considered unsafe, because I just don't think that would be a good idea, just period. But most countries, from our opinion, are safe. And I will say, just use literally the same thing as you use in your own backyard. Like, when you go out, don't have your money all don't be paying. You got to stack. I got 500. Don't pull out your whole wallet and boom, 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 because somebody gonna see that. I could be a tourist and I could see another tourist dude I could steal from. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. Just use your common sense when you go places. Don't be flash your money. Don't be wearing all your jewelry and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially some other places, because they could be a little bit more deprived than you are. So they might I don't know, but just use your common sense when traveling. Just be aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Try to limit go out like late night or something like that, or try to utilize, reputable services like reputable taxis, licensed taxis. Don't just hop in random cars or whatever. Make sure you get people's license plates, and if you're using an Uber or whatever, just look at the license plate, match it, do all the necessary precautions that you would do just, in anywhere else, in the world. That's what I would say.
Yep. Next tip, we have 4 more tips that we'll get through. And of course, still put your questions in there. If we don't get any more questions, then we'll end it after these next 4 tips. But if we get more questions, we'll continue to, of course, address them. Make sure that you have a travel converter and adapter set. So this will also, there are some that you can just buy for like Europe or something like that. But there are also now packages that you can get that have the converters for all the countries. Yeah. So just make sure that you have the correct one with you for wherever you're going, because the outlets that we use here in the United States of America don't work everywhere around the world. So you have to just make sure that you have your converter so that you can still charge your devices. And then you don't need an adapter all the time. You need a converter, you need an adapter. Sorry, you always need an adapter. Travel adapters to make sure that your electronics can fit into their outlets. You also can have a converter as well. You don't always need it. A converter is for the voltage. So say if you are planning on bringing your hair blow dryer and you want to blow dry your hair, you don't want to just put the adapter straight into the wall. You can blow a socket or something. So you want to make sure you have a converter to convert the voltage and then plug it into the wall, so you're not blowing out sockets and stuff like that. So
and definitely get one before you go to another country, because you never know. But do your research, because some countries might take the United States plugs or whatever. So, but yeah, you can find that anywhere on your local Walmart, Amazon. They're really cheap, probably like $10 or whatever, if that. So make sure you get one of those before you go on travel. So make sure your devices are charged and ready to go.
Definitely.
Because you definitely don't need it.
Next, make sure you research what's happening in the country that you're traveling to during your travel dates. So when you're planning, do that before you book anything. So say, for example, you plan to go to Santorini, Greece, and you're like, I want to go there December 5th through the 7th, through the 5th through the 17th. Research what's happening in December in Santorini, because if you do that, you will know that typically for Santorini, Greece, they don't have much for tourists in between the months of November and April or March. November and March, they're pretty much a ghost town. So you can go there, but you probably won't have any hotel to stay at, or you won't have any restaurant to eat. So just make sure that you're always looking at that. Or some countries have religious celebrations during certain times of the year, during particular weeks where they don't allow any travel in or out for a certain day, or they don't allow anybody in the streets on a certain day, or all the restaurants are closed on a certain day. So keep that in mind when you're traveling, because you don't want to get there and get upset that you can't go somewhere. And then the last tip we have right now, we have a lot on the, of course, we're trying to keep a look on the time. Try to get to know a few common phrases where you're going.
Hello, bye, how much?
Thank you.
With a bathroom mat.
No, those two, but know how to say thank you. That goes a long way, and you might forget how to say it. Jot it down somewhere. Have your communicator app, the Google Translator or something like that with you. Know how to say hello, thank you, where's the bathroom, stuff like that. So those are the tips we have for now. It is 4 o'clock. So, 4 or 5. So we're more than happy to take any more questions you have. But if not, we really hope that you found this useful. Please give us a thumbs up if you did find it useful. If you like the live situation, let us know so we can continue doing them. If you like this day and time, let us know. And definitely share with others. And we really do appreciate you all bearing with us as we got used to this.
Hey, Bryce, come here. Bryce, come here. Come here.
Bryce has.
Come here.
Come here. Come here.
Come here. Since you want to be in the video.
Hurry up. Bring it with you. Bring the thing with you.
Come on. Since you came down here anyway, make a noise. Be in it.
Hurry. Bryce is trying to be in the background with this thing he made at Disney. He clearly wants y'all to see it, but he wanted y'all to just hear it in the background.
That's a good tip, Nikki 828. There was a couple Bali Facebook groups that we went to, and they gave us a lot of good tips on things like that. So,
do you want to say anything? Do you want to say anything? You want to tell them who this is?
Yeah.
Who is it?
It's a joy.
It's a joy. Where'd you make it?
At Disney World.
Okay. All right. Say bye.
Bye.
Get out of here with your loud stuff.
Can you keep it quiet for like 2 more minutes, please? Okay. So there's we don't see any other questions. Everybody said hi, Bryce. If there's no other questions, then we will wrap it up. Make sure you guys still comment and leave more questions, because that can dictate our theme for the next live. We can go more in detail about some of these things we kind of flew through. Like we can go in more detail about traveling with kids. We can go into more detail about vacations. We can go in more details about any of these things we mentioned. If you want more things, let us know. Thank you all for joining, and make sure if you're not subscribed, you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We really do appreciate you guys. All right. Until next time, bye.